Lisa B here with QFW Parenting, and we are finishing out our travel section. First, we went through the why we should all travel together, and the second being how we can do that with a limited budget, or we're just really being mindful of the budget, some tips and hacks. So definitely go back to those 2 episodes if you didn't catch it. But for now, let's get into our families and how being as wonderful and varied and unique as we are, how important it is to do certain things before we leave for this wonderful journey, whatever it might be, when we are doing it with our kiddos, and how specifically to do it and make it a little less stressful, a little more fun for everyone. So let's get into it. There are definitely a number of considerations when we are traveling with our kiddos, no matter if they're an infant or up to even a teenager. There are certain components we need to consider as a very unique family. Perhaps it's that your name, like just your last names, aren't aligned on your official documents. That's something that can come up. Or what if it's just that want to make sure legally when you're going in and out of the country, you have your ducks in a row, everything from emergency contacts to documents. I like to always recommend a checklist. Creating that checklist can be pretty daunting for some folks, but honestly, it takes so much stress off the trip, knowing that you have the documents you need as backups. I like to start with the very basics before when we're considering like booking a trip, making sure we have these things in order. First is being legal and nimble. So that means having copies to keep in an envelope or travel folder that you will carry with you, not just have it in your house in a safe, which I highly recommend when you're not traveling with them, or as something to have as the original copies and you're just taking backups as you do travel. You want to make sure there's copies of all the documents that connect you to your kiddos and each other. So maybe you and your partner, or just you and the kiddos. Make sure you have those ducks in a row. Think of your marriage licenses, adoption papers, birth certificates. If you're in the United States, at least, and have kids where you have, say, shared custody, then you're going to want to have a minor travel consent form. You can get that from the U.S. government. I will put a link to the website in the page. The thing is, you will need it to be notarized. So think about that well in advance before your trip so that you can have all those things signed and taken care of well beforehand and not have to worry about this travel consent form if the situation is that you need to get another adult involved who also has custody over your kids to make sure that they can travel with you. Another thing that sometimes forget is, sure, I might bring the medicines with me. Like, for instance, if you have anything from an antibiotic, drug to help with mental health, think of any medical or things that you take on a regular basis. Even if it's a vitamin, just think through everything. Make sure you have your list for your travel pack, because it's really great also to have for a packing list, which we'll talk about later. Then you can have these medications already laid out of what you're going to have for each one of the members of your family. But you could also have prescriptions with each of those medications. So if you have a prescription for a medication, then bring those with you. Definitely. Some countries actually won't allow you to enter Like, for instance, if you are searched and you have this medication without a prescription, because maybe that drug is actually not legal in that country or administered. So they want to make sure that you aren't trying to take a bunch of things in and sell them on the black market, etc. So to make sure everything's legal and sound, just go ahead and have that prescription, have a medical letter from your pediatricians or from your primary care, whatever doctor might have prescribed it. Of course, also have your citizen status. That could be everything from, of course, a passport to a visa card, green card. Think in those terms. Have that available and copies of it as well. At that or stay in your home country, not just travel with you. Think bank statements. You don't necessarily have to have all of your bank documents right there with the account number and everything, but you might get stopped and say, oh, well, I'm going to be traveling for an extended period of time. Some countries want to make sure that you have the available funds in your savings account or in your checking account, or sometimes even at just a credit card that could cover those expenses for accommodations, for being able to eat out. The biggest thing is accommodations and transit. They just want to make sure you're not going to be coming in and not have a way to pay for things. One thing that I also do is print out an itinerary of the places that we're staying. So then I'll have the hotels, the Airbnbs, our friends' addresses or phone numbers so that they can see that, oh, they are coming in, they were coming on vacation, or we're coming to do maybe even business. But we have what conference we're going to. We have what places we're going to be staying. And guess what? You can bring your kids when you're having a conference too. Done it. So you already have that in a really nice document. It's easy to share with those loved ones or friends who are going to be in your home country still while you're traveling, to have as a reference for something does happen. They can be like, oh, at these dates or at these places, they're supposed to be at this place. And they can easily call those places that you're planning on staying if something were to happen. Not even to you abroad. What if something happens in your home country and they need to get in touch with you? Then that's always a really good reference to have. And just keep it with someone you trust, as well as, if you need to, those documents that are going to say what your citizenship status is, marriage license, birth certificates, anything you want to be secure. The last thing on my needs list are photos, kind of current photos printed out of your kiddos. Now, it could be you go over to the local pharmacy or you have a printer at home and you're able to actually print a most recent photo of your kid. It could be your kids together. It could be you with your kids, which is also good, but also maybe trying to, if you can, make an individual picture of each kid and have that with you. I usually keep it then with my passport so that if something were to happen and you need to identify your kid, what they look like, and give that to the authorities in the country that your city, state, town that you are traveling to, you already have it. You'll have it there. Be like, oh, this is what the description of my kid is. You're already distraught. We can just give them that photo. Easy peasy. And again, a current photo with our kid. His passport photo is now like almost 3 years old. He looks a little bit different. Of course, having a photo on your phone makes sense. But if something happens to your phone, my phone has done some weird, I don't know about you all, my phone has done some weird things when traveling. So I try not to always rely on it entirely. I definitely try to have physical copies of certain key documents or items that we need for our travels with our kid. And it always makes things so much less stressed. Like just oozing with with ease after we get off that plane, or even we just start. Like we go to the airport and you can call us old school, but sometimes we like to have that printed boarding pass. So you have your printed boarding pass, you bring it with you, just print it at the airport. Most airports still allow you to print a boarding pass, which is wonderful in my opinion. Though, of course, yes, having it on your phone, having it in your wallet on your phone, just scan the barcode. It's really easy, breezy, especially going through multiple checkpoints. Having that on your phone, I highly recommend that too. So you want to download all of those different documents when we take the train, no matter if it's Amtrak here in the United States or in Europe or Japan as well. We will go ahead and download those tickets for the train, put it in our wallet on our phone, and be able to have it and easily scan. When they're checking tickets, they check after you're on the train. So you're all nice and comfortable. You found your place, or you already had reserved seats. You're getting out snacks. You're getting out toys. And here they come about maybe 20, 30 minutes into your train ride and ask for your ticket. And I usually keep all of our tickets together too, and then and so for D and AJ, they have theirs separately. I have all of our tickets on my wallet because I'm the one who usually does all of the travel planning and likes to hold all those different tickets and documents and have as a reference. But if I'm going with my partner, then I'm most definitely going to have her have a copy of everything that I have a copy of that I feel is relevant. So she'll have a copy of that itinerary. She'll have a copy of emergency numbers. Sometimes I'll even print out, it's so easy to find different references to language or culture, some kind of basic good to knows about the country or city or place we're going to be. Just a really small snapshot, not my full document, but I will have a snapshot and make it really, really easy for her to reference those basic sayings. Think, hello, goodbye, thank you, please, where's the restroom? Where's the restroom, please? I can't tell you how often that is used and how thankful I have been to have that in my back pocket when we've been traveling with our kiddo. Because unlike when we can hop into a place, maybe a pub, a restaurant, or somewhere really quick and say, oh, we're going to be here. Let's be here for a second, grab a bite or what have you. Or maybe we can run to the next place to use that free restroom. With your kid, sometimes it's like, I got to use the restroom. I got to use it right now. Oh, can you wait one more minute? No, I can't. So then you're scrambling, trying to find a place to have your kid use the restroom while in most places you say, oh, for the kid, they are so much more accommodating. So know that use your kid to your advantage. And then when they're using the restroom, you use the restroom too. So then you both have used the restroom. You're feeling good. You're feeling fine. Oh, let's have a snack. Yeah. So that's one thing that I definitely have noticed that is so helpful is to have a couple of these needs and checklists. Another thing to consider, the packing list, because packing less means less to carry, to wrangle, and to keep up with. With my packing list, like to follow the 3-day rule, a day for whatever occasion you're going to. Why are you traveling? Are you traveling for a wedding? Are you traveling just for a vacation, but there's going to be a beach day? So the beach day would kind of maybe be that occasion day. Or maybe you're going on a hiking day and you want to make sure that they have those hiking boots, or they have really sturdy tennis shoes, that they are in really comfortable socks. Make sure they have some really good layers on. So first, you're accounting for that occasion day. Second, your tourist day. That means you are just walking around from day to possibly in the evening. You are going in and out of buildings. Possibly you are maybe spending some time outside on playgrounds. And so you really want to have more of a casual, comfortable, yet layered or balanced outfit. Because depending on where you're traveling, they might have rules or regulations about what you can wear inside certain like churches, temples, etc. to be mindful of. And also that you might go into a place, it might be a lot warmer than it is outside. I was about to say it could be a lot cooler inside. But that's really just here in America because we love our air conditioning and we will blast some cold air anywhere. You will be freezing inside a restaurant, inside a museum, where it is quite warm outside. That's not the norm in other places around the world that I have found, but it is in America. So yes, if you're coming to visit America, I would recommend wearing layers, putting layers for all your kids. Make sure that they're comfortable, and especially for that tourist day. And then the last one, of course, is travel days. So think about how you're traveling. If you're doing trains, if you're doing airplanes, are you be sitting for a long period of time versus being able to stretch your legs? Like basic, comfortable, casual, but be mindful that some airlines now are really restricting what not the kids can wear as much, but what us adults can wear. And making sure that we are being modest. And modesty goes many different ways. I get it. We want to be our true authentic selves while we're out there. But just understand that there are certain regulations that airlines are putting out there. I'm not saying I agree with it or not. Just really be mindful that that is happening and that you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you're traveling, especially internationally, because once you are on the plane, you get going from the plane to on the plane to getting off the plane could be all very different scenarios for what your look could be, what it's going to be comfortable. And again, the name is comfort. That's at least how we roll, and you might as well. So making sure that that's something that you keep in mind. So you have that 3-day outfit rule. So you have the 3 days, and you know that you can kind of rotate in and out of your top layers, your bottom layers, so that they are interchangeable. You might want to have this wonderful outfit and it's so tailored, but it doesn't go with anything else, as in the pants or shorts don't go with any other tops, vice versa. Maybe have that just be for that occasion day, right? So you can have that one special outfit, but really the vast majority of the other pieces of clothing or articles or accessories you have are all going to line up with those 2 other days, the travel day and the tourist days. Layering, the technique is making sure that you have something that is moisture wicking and comfortable up against your skin. That's very breathable. The second layer, so that's first your base layer. Your second layer is going to be something that maybe gives you some warmth, but at the same time is still breathable. And it's a really good layer you can kind of throw on. That top layer usually is that overcoat or something to block the wind, a hat, accessories. So that's your very top layer. So usually most of us just think about that base layer and are like, oh, we're good. think about how easy it can also be to have that middle layer and have it so interchangeable. So it's a nice sweater. Is it a cardigan? Is it a zippered hoodie? All right, quick pause, builders. Wherever your family is in this journey, here's something worth 2 minutes of your time. QFW Travel is live at qfamilyway.com/travel. It's a free tool that scores 29 countries across 5 safety factors built specifically for families like ours: legal protections, healthcare, racial equity, political stability, and cost of living, plus everything else you can think of. Take the free quiz, no sign up required to start. See where your family could really thrive. That's qfamilyway.com/travel. Now back to the show. Something that's going to be really interchangeable. Then I love bringing a nice windbreaker for AJ. It's very light. It packs super small, and he can have it as windproof, but also for a light rain resistance. And then we can use our umbrellas for anything else. If we're going to a place that's really rainy, then we will bring our foldable travel rain jackets. They're so easy to pack into a carry-on and have that as a layer. That's that top layer. I am also a really big fan of vests. So I like to have like a thinner puffy vest because of how small they can squish into your bags. The materials that we like to use are cotton and wool. Those are our big base layers. We do some synthetics, but it just really depends. I found that synthetics have their place, but the ones that don't smell as quickly, lay them out and let them dry, etc., are usually wool. So I really love wool socks, and I really love wool undershirts, especially for me and Dee. And then for our AJ, cotton or a light synthetic works, especially for UV protection, depending on where we're going. So have that as a nice, like long, thin shirt with a hoodie. Then you could do that and then put a vest on top. If it gets a little chilly, he could easily come in and out of a place and not feel cold or really windy, which also drops his body temperature. And that's when the whining starts. We all know that if our kids aren't comfortable, then no one's going to be happy on this trip. So I highly recommend really playing around with those layers. And the only things extra are undies and socks. And I stuck those socks and shoes. There's cubes, and you can use these travel cubes, and you put your clothes inside of them. Some people roll them. Some people just lay them flat. It really is kind of your preference. I've done both, and it really depends on if I am going to be bringing heavier things like one pair of jeans as well, or a couple pairs of jeans, as well as usually just one. I don't know why I said a couple. It's usually just one pair of jeans and then maybe one pair of a thinner canvas type of pant or linen or a sweatshirt. Then yes, I will lay those flat because you roll those things up and it actually takes, I think, more room. But if you lay them flat, you can really squish them down and then use that travel cube to compress and really make more room in your suitcase or whatever duffel bag or whatever you might be taking with you as a carry-on, or if you're going to check it. We like our kids to have less screen time while they travel. Even though they might be those cheat times, like, oh, he's on the airplane, we most definitely are going to be using that back of screen on the plane or a little tablet. But it always starts with us modeling that behavior. So when we bring out a book to read versus having a screen in front of us, no matter if we're reading it or not, that transfers to them that, oh, it's okay for anyone to not be on screen and to enjoy it. If we bring out a puzzle or a notebook where we want to write and journal, or a coloring book, like a very stress relieving coloring book for people who do too much. Yes, I have one of those, and it's wonderful. And when AJ sees me drawing in it, he wants to draw. We can model those same behaviors for our kiddos, and it makes a huge difference. So you can consider everything from puzzles. There's so many different travel size puzzles that are really easy to put into their bags. They're laid really flat. They have upwards to say 160 to 100 puzzle pieces. They're quick, they're easy. When you're in a restaurant, you can do them as well. So much fun. You can think about small Rubik's Cubes. We have a 4-sided Rubik's Cube, and AJ is still figuring out how to master that. Gosh, I'm trying to figure out how to master that. And so that's something to consider. A smaller Lego set. I love these really small Lego sets, especially on a train ride, because you have the potential of having a little bit more space at those tables. It takes them a bit. They're really excited because it's something new to do, because usually we give them a new little something to do if we barter with another family who maybe got done with theirs. Oh, can we change out and maybe we can have that Lego set for the trip? It has been magical for our family to do some bartering with some other families. I mentioned coloring, always a big hit, no matter the age. Reading, paperback, and then even I like to travel with a soft frisbee. Gives us something so that I can put it in my bag, my travel bag, when we're going around just exploring different places. If we stop in a park, then I can bring out the soft frisbee, toss it around a bit, and with that, the last thing to really consider is embracing the slow travel mentality. Even if you have less actual time in a location, slow down, take in the sights, find that cafe or places to sit and relax, and build in those times in between each bucket list activity that you would like to do, and check it off. Oh, I've done that bucket list. Time to have a break. Have a break. And maybe you might not be able to see as much as you did if you were going, hitting every location. But I promise you, the mental and physical relaxation you're going to have on your trip will allow you to really appreciate this experience so much more than going, and maybe having a meltdown, or maybe someone getting sick or physically so drained that the next day, then it has to be a whole day of comfort. And maybe that is the plan. Maybe that is what you are considering, is having that whole day of adventure, and then have a day of like the beach, or just going to like that one museum. But I want you to consider possibly slowing it down the whole trip and seeing what else you can experience about the culture, about the people, the language, the food, the drink, the environment, the natural beauty of the world around you. Taking a breath and being with your loved ones, because that truly is what will bring in a lifetime of memories. I remember as a kid, and I don't know if you're like this, but I remember it was a feeling, not necessarily, I can't picture it in my head exactly what we were doing at that moment during that adventure. But I sure do remember the feeling I had and how much elation I had when we were doing that said activity. And as now, 40 years down the road, that is what I remember. And because the memory is not locked in with this emotional experience. Build more positive emotional experiences with your family and with your kids. And just see how that alone transforms a lot of the time you spend together. That was another episode of QFW Parenting. I'm Kisa B, your host, and I want to thank all of you for listening in. Thank you for everyone who supports this podcast and other independent sources out there. Please do check out other resources we have at www.qfamilyway.com, including free checklists for travel with our kids. Again, Kisa B here, and be well. Before you go, builders, QFW Travel is live. It's a free tool scoring 29 countries on safety, legal protections, and more, built for families just like ours. Take the quiz at qfamilyway.com/travel. It takes minutes and it's completely free. Link is in the description. Thanks, and see you next time.